Mm. Namaste. So we've got LUNAR and biodynamic gardening. That stopped the glare. So I'm just going to read the front and the back of the book, and then we'll read the contents on the inside. But before we do the contents on the inside, we're going to do a Light Seers tarot card to check in with the energies that we're dancing with to deal with this book and the reading. So it feels amazing, this book. There's some books that are textured that don't feel very good. But I don't know, it could be good for a blind person because it's all, I don't know if it's called embossed. I'm not sure if embossed is when it's stamped in, or it could be embossed when it's risen out, but it's risen out of the book, and it's kind of a soft feel of all that writing. It's just the big writing. Yeah, it's just the big writing, but that's all that comes out of the book, and it feels lovely as well, the outside of the book. LUNAR and biodynamic gardening. Planting Your Biodynamic Garden by the Phases of the Moon by Matt Jackson. Reconnect with nature and reap the benefits of the holistic garden. Achieve higher yields in food and flowers by gardening biodynamically and in harmony with the lunar cycles. Easy to follow, step-by-step projects, perfect for the beginner gardener. We're going through some more cycles again. Our bowels, we had the diarrhea yesterday, didn't we? I think it was, yeah, something, we're not going to say what they said. But we're going through our own cycles, but we're going through them very quickly because we had solid bowel movements by late last night, which was good. But yeah, we're back on the not solid. So earlier on, to follow in with the energies that was earlier, it's living by this living. Oh, I can't see it. Living well by the spectrum, was it? How to live with high functioning autism in society with the way it is, in a planned out way or something of how it goes. And a muse card was pulled. So to connect the energies in, I'm just going to read inside the box because she puts lovely messages inside the box. So we invite in these energies to radiate out to everyone that comes to the reading. There is magic in truth. There is truth in my veins, where my blood speaks in soothe, and my mind has no reins. My parasympathetic like those words. And so then we're doing the Light Seers Tarot. It's by the same lady. They call these ones like the usual cups, pentacles, wands, swords, but in the Muse they call them inspiration for wands, materials for pentacles, voices for swords. What are we left? We're left with cups, aren't we? The Tower, death, materials, inspiration, emotions. No wonder I couldn't think of that one. That is the one we find hardest. Water emotions, of course. So in this box, she's got another beautiful saying. And into the grey we follow, like 1,000 flickering stars. And there, in a sunlit hollow, we lose and find what is ours. Dear light and shadow seer, may this deck help you to find what is yours. Chris Ann. We love them. We've done a really good shuffle, but we will now shuffle while we're here connected through this beautiful, integrated, inorganic and organic technology with its crystal memory or hard drives or something to do with the crystals. Quartz crystal that does something that makes it work. I know quartz crystal can make watches work. And whenever people come to videos or readings, it's time doesn't exist in the multi-dimensional universe. It's only in the construct of the human mind for the human mind and the individual expression of each human to be able to comprehend concepts until there's enough expansion in the heart, the body, the mind, so that the multiversal energies can then make sense and one can find their connection and what they call their purpose. There'll be more coming from this as we develop ourselves more and heal and align ourselves more. So yeah, when you come to this reading, or this reading, it's a double reading, the meaning of words, it will be your here and now, your present. So this will be related, well, it'll be great to hear if it relates to you in any way. There'll be a reason you're drawn to the reading, whether there's a certain word in the book, a certain word we say, a certain word from this, or a picture or a symbol, or vibration in the sound or the frequency of our voice or the frequency of the picture. This is the power of the subconscious mind and symbology. One's individual interpretation of symbology, pictology, soundology. There we go, we've got one here given. Or the collective, hence the importance to get to an understanding and a comprehension of both, so that you then become the adventurer of your internal world and an adventurer of the knowing of the external world and collective consciousness. So before we look at that one, we're dancing within the spectrum of energies of the subconscious, unaware, unseen, underlying 8 of Wands. And then the top, the conscious, the surface, spectrum of energies we're dancing. 13, death, rebirth, transformation. And the card that they gave us is the 9 of Cups, the 9 of emotions. And we're not going to go into what our meaning is of that. If you want to pause the video so that you can look at it and see. When we look at it, we get a lot from the body, the light movements, the numbers, the words. The cups are emotions. The number 9, completion, and the physical reality. we thought that would work. Oh, hold on. I'm sure we did this the other day and it worked, but there we go. You can see the 9 of Cups bit now. That's the bit that was important. Okay. Gardening is a natural process that keeps us rooted to the earth and in touch with the world around us. However, in a world of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, machinery and mechanical methods, it is easy to lose touch with nature. LUNAR and biodynamic gardening introduces you to the holistic processes of gardening biodynamically and by the phases of the moon. And we did our sunset meditation, inviting in the sunset energies, which was like, I don't know, around 4:40 something, close, gone for 4:30, I think it was, closer to 5, for about an hour, a bit longer. And we had our hematite in our left hand and a heart-shaped dark grey stone in our right hand. So there's the meditative energies, a lot of self-discipline and real pure intentional not sure of the word, but to put the energies and frequencies across in this. Biodynamic gardening simply means being aware of the interrelatedness of the soil, plants and vegetables. The principles of biodynamics also brings a spiritual aspect to the meditative art of gardening, emphasizing the influence of invisible energies, such as lunar cycles, on the garden. Biodynamic practices are frequently used in agriculture, and many people are interested in adopting this holistic, natural approach in their own gardens, but are unsure how to get started. In this book, garden and landscape consultant Matt Jackson gives you an easy-to-follow guide to getting started with moon and biodynamic gardening, demystifying and simplifying biodynamics to show how they can work for all gardens, regardless of size. You will discover how to take advantage of the phases of the moon by planning your gardening activities to coincide with the most favourable conditions in the sky. For example, during a waxing moon, the earth is exhaling, and it is best to sow non-root plants. During a waning moon, the earth is inhaling. So when it's exhaling, the energy is going up. When it's inhaling, the energy is going down. And biodynamic gardeners should water and fertilize their crops. Matt also guides you through making biodynamic preparations to keep your soil alive and demonstrates the importance of working with nature rather than trying to dominate it. With step-by-step illustrations for a range of projects, explanatory diagrams, and stunning colour photographs, this is the perfect introduction to lunar gardening and biodynamics, setting you on the path to higher yields, an abundant, healthy garden, and an improved sense of well-being as you reconnect with nature's rhythms and cycles. And that's our personal definition of spirituality, when you connect and become aware and in harmony and in sync of your own internal rhythms and cycles. So diving to the depths of your subconscious psyche to get to know yourself really well and unconditionally love and be grateful for every single aspect, fragment, whatever of your being, from the inside out, the outside in, top to bottom to top, left to right, right to left, etc. And then to align that with the cycles of nature. And one influence is that is the in the olden days, women's menstrual cycles used to happen. I'm pretty sure it's at a new moon. You'd have to Google that to research it. And then you know when you're inhaling, exhaling in alignment with the rhythms of nature. And if you're in alignment with the rhythms of nature and yourself, you'll be in complete whole interconnectedness, integral connection with intuition and guidance, and being able to think and act in the moment on your feet with complete, absolute trust in yourself, on the decisions that you make. LUNAR and biodynamic gardening. Planting your biodynamic garden by the phase of the moon by Matt Jackson. For Laura, thank you for bringing happiness to every day. It's just got a lot of, I suppose, professional stuff here, published by who, different numbers, text, artwork, additional photos on the front page there. Contents, and that's a nice picture of a butterfly. Transformation, that might even be red clover, I'm not sure. Contents, we've been some red and white clover. I think we planted together too many seeds in one in a pot, and we took it out of the pot, and it looks like it's still in a pot, but it's not. It's just all the roots. And we've been doing some visual meditations looking at that through our summer house. And there's a rock just in front of it as well. Contents, introduction, chapter 1, lunar gardening and biodynamics, the basics. Chapter 2, getting started. Chapter 3, soil and compost, the foundations of it all. Chapter 4, growing for food. Chapter 5, growing for flowers. Chapter 6, pots and containers. Conclusion, resources, index, authors, acknowledgements. So we're going to, I don't think it's too long, we're going to read the introduction now. Yeah, we're going to read the introduction, and then when we come back to it, rather than starting at the basics, we will probably go to soil and compost, because it's the foundations of all, and 4 is the number for our foundations, which is the number that's important for us. Plus, we want to get onto our garden, and we'd like to start a compost already now, so that, I don't know how long it takes, we'll find out when we read this. Yeah, so this is going to be a book, I think, that we read pretty regularly, so that we can get the energies, feed the energies in, watch it back, and start prepping for our garden. We've still got to get the railway sleepers, but yeah, I don't know. So the picture, I've applied biodynamic principles to my own garden. This book charts my experiences and results. So it looks like this might be the author, Matt Jackson. And I have to say, he looks like a lovely man. He's got a nice smile. He's got a good posture, a nice stance, and nice eyes, even though they're squinty. Yeah, and that's the picture on the other side. And that picture is setting up a small garden from scratch can be a steep learning curve, but quickly provides some wonderful results. So we always think it's a misting of words, but that's where our signs come in. We said sleep instead of steep. What we do is we do a lot of subconscious programming of the mind to repattern the body and the mind. So we'll probably listen to this in our sleep as well. Introduction, because that will access the altars that we're not able to access otherwise. Introduction, finally. This is a book about the most natural way to garden, even more natural than organic gardening. Lunar, moon, and biodynamic gardening both follow traditions that were practiced for over 10,000 years, but almost lost to us because of several centuries of mechanization and industrialization. These are not only methods for gardening, but also ways in which to live that are connected with nature on a fundamental level and in tune with natural law. This book focuses on 2 linked but distinctly different approaches to gardening. Both methods are rooted in our ancestral past and predate scientific understanding, but have been developed and enhanced throughout the 20th century using modern knowledge and a healthy dose of hindsight. We have the ability to learn from our mistakes and to recognize the successes of millennia in our ever-evolving relationship with all life on Earth. This book is an open-armed introduction to moon and biodynamic gardening for beginners. There are various reference books that go into great detail on the subjects of moon and biodynamic gardening, but there is really very little material available for the newcomer. I hope the book can fulfill this role and provide a reliable guide for gardeners just starting out on their lunar and biodynamic journey. And this again is part of our healing and connecting process. And we're not going to go into now because there's just way too many reasons why. And yeah, shiver me tingles with like getting really cold now. When you have finished reading the book, I truly hope you will be inspired to dig deeper, which is why you will find a detailed resources section on page 156 that will open up a wealth of understanding. I personally discovered gardening in this way after a long career of over 20 years as a professional gardener. I started out initially by setting up a gardening round as a teenager in the sleepy Cornish town of Wadebridge, England. We're reading from Cornwall now. We thought it was American because it spelt colour without a U. Oh. I grew up on my parents' little farm on Bodmin Moor and spent my formative years surrounded by nature. My future path was fixed when I was taken on by the National Trust as a trainee gardener at Anthony House in Cornwall, where I learned every detail of modern professional horticulture. It was also at this point in time that my connection with nature became skewed and damaged, as I learned about chemicals such as herbicides, pesticides, and fungicides. We had fungi for dinner that connects us into the underground earth grid rather than the surface human footprint earth grid. Well done, my lovelies. I discovered how you could easily kill that which was in your way and lace the soil with a whole range of synthetic additives in order to make it better and turn it into a healthy environment for growing plants. I very soon forgot my childhood understanding of nature and became caught up in a world of conquering, control, and manipulating nature by force. So, what brought about the change? My gardening path has taken me to some wonderful places. First as a gardener at Stour Head in Wiltshire, then as a supervisor at the Oxford University Botanic Gardens, before becoming head gardener at Scotney Castle in Kent. I have always questioned tasks. One of the 4 agreements, don't make assumptions, question everything. Yeah, that's right, sweetheart. I've always questioned tasks, wanting to understand why and do them. Wanting to understand why I do them and to what end. And it was at Oxford that I first began to question so-called gardening tradition. However, my questioning approach could not be fully exercised until I became a head gardener. I acquired another role as head gardener at Doddington Place, also in Kent, before becoming gardens and estate manager at the world-famous Sissinghurst Castle. I joined as a new large-scale vegetable garden of 2.2 acres, 0.9 hectares. There's the 9. Shh. 22, number of intuition, equaling 4, nature. Yes, you're one of the know-it-alls, aren't you? I got that from the look in the eyes there. I joined as a new large-scale vegetable garden of 2.2 acres, 0.9 hectares. Was in its 4th year, but struggling to succeed and in danger of closure. It was then that I asked Charles Dowding, a market gardener for 30 years, for advice. Charles has developed his own tried and tested style of organic growing called no-dig gardening, which is a highly productive, unmechanized way of growing fantastic vegetables. And the great thing is that this approach can also be applied to ornamental gardening. It sounds easier too, because it says no dig. Yeah, that hurts our back, doesn't it? I was very soon convinced that this was the right path for Sissinghurst Castle. So we set about a rapid conversion, which saw year 5 yielding the best produce yet in far greater volumes. It also took me one giant step closer to nature and being in tune with what plants really want. Because, in truth, they only look to us for a bit of help. It was moving to a new house and a chance conversation with a friend that led me to pursue gardening by the phases of the moon and then onto biodynamics. I moved to an old oast house historically used for drying hops for beer making, which is located on a farm in Kent. We were just at the end of the wettest winter on record, and the clay soil at my feet was waterlogged. My basic but fair-sized garden was to be a new project piece, and I knew that it would be no dig. But my friend also mentioned moon gardening, and this got me thinking. Light bulb, light bulb, light bulb. A life-changing experience. Moon gardening. Moon gardening soon led to biodynamics. So I paid a visit to Tablehurst Biodynamic Farm in East Sussex. I can only say that the experience had a profound effect on me. While walking around the farm, I became subconsciously aware that this was a special place and that everything around me was happy and content. Farm cats, meow, pigs, moo, horned cows, and people alike all brimmed with a relaxed contentment and obvious health. I think we just kind of sorted some of our sinuses out because that pig's not really hurt and now my sinuses are stinging. So I think we've had a good old sinus release there because we always get sinus issues. Which means we're ready to get more oxygen to our prefrontal lobar cortex, which hopefully means we're all going to be the younger ones will start being grown up more soon as we continue. Beautiful body, beautiful mind, beautiful altars, beautiful cellular systems. Thank you so much. I think we discovered one of our older songs for the equivalent of every little cell in our body is happy, from the lady that we've been something, kind of her last name looks like Gaia. She does Sanskrit, a lot of yoga kind of stuff, Sanskrit stuff that we love. And she just did a song. I can't even remember the name. We'll post it with one of these on our social media. But it talks about the body and prana and stuff in that. And we listen to that at the start of our meditation, along with the alarm that's set to the birds and the sea for the sunset alarm, which connects us in emotionally because we have always seen sea as our meditation, you see, and always parked up by the sea when we lived in our van. When I finally reached the vegetable grounds, I found the fullest, greenest, healthiest lettuces growing beside many other first-class specimens. Tablehurst Farm convinced me of the benefits of biodynamics, and some very helpful gardeners set me on the right path to becoming a LUNAR and biodynamic gardener. And that right tooth has got a different sensation of more of an ache going on. And the shingles that I normally get feeling in the right-hand side up here is down here at the moment. So there's a whole new meridian pathway opened up from that sinus release. Not just a meridian pathway, because meridians relate to linear, but fascia train, because fascia trains can relate to, I don't know if it's linear. I'd say it's linear on surface area, and I don't know if it's related to one or a set of meridians, but that will all be unraveled and developed to us as we progress along this journey of interconnectedness and connection. My research has shown that there is little clarity on these methods of gardening for the beginner, while there are also many different variations put forward by a range of experienced gardeners. This book charts my experience of setting up a small garden from scratch in one season, as well as how I adopted biodynamic principles. It is full and helpful tips for the beginner, while also being a useful resource for experienced traditional gardeners. I don't claim it to be an exhaustive work on the intricacies of moon gardening and biodynamics, and remain humbled by the skill and wisdom of other gardeners with decades of experience. However, I hope it serves as a bridge that will bring you over to a place where the grass is very definitely greener. And what's coming to us now, we've got Shiver Me Tingles again, is that it's almost better for an advanced beginner to write a book for a beginner than someone that's really advanced, because it's really hard to go back to a beginner's mindset when one is really advanced. And it was the Page of Swords, I think, that came out. No, the Page of Voices. No, it was the Page of something that came out earlier, which is an adult beginner's mind, bringing you back to, well, generally teenage years, I would say. But for us, we're an adult and we're being brought back to like ridiculously young ages. Well, yeah, I won't tell you where it started, but we weren't able to communicate or talk to start. Whereas the Ace is more of a child or young child's beginner mind, and a Fool is a bigger theme and just completely carefree, no belief systems whatsoever. And I didn't even know that myself. I shock myself listening to what comes out of my mouth sometimes. Well, everything. My garden plan. I chose a small area at the side of the house to start a vegetable patch. I began by doing this sketch to work out what I wanted to grow. With careful planning and sketching what you'd like to achieve, you will grow more and have better results. See Chapter 2, Getting Started, pages 34 to 57. So I'll show you the picture in a minute, but you've got like the shed here, got direction north there, compost, grass, a little thing there, path, and then you've got 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. I thought it'd do a snake then, but it's gone back down to here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we'll start going backwards now. 1, potatoes, Nicola, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, runner beans, 3, French beans, 4, sugar peas, Monge 2. 5, cosmos, calendula, and nasturtium. We've grown calendula last year. The young ones did it, and we like the idea of cosmos, but we have no idea what that is. 6, I wonder if that's companion planting, because it doesn't seem to be, because we would have thought calendula and stuff, the companion planting would be more mixed in with things. We don't know too much about it, but we do know a bit, because when we grew our own medicinal plants, we learned about companion planting with the herbs that get rid of pesticides and balance out the soil nutrients and everything. So it would be great for us to get back into that again on different layers. It's one of the others that do it. It's the younger ones. 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10 down to 14. Beetroot gold, 7 Swiss chard, 8 beetroot red, 9 cosmos, calendula, and basil. There we go again. We've got basil growing inside the house that we grew from seed. It's very good for many healing purposes. Lots of things, actually. 10 rocket. We actually saw someone's story saying with some information on it, so I might be able to just read that off quickly. So yeah, here we go. Health, and this is thanks to, this is information that we know, but it's just happened to be here. Lula Bell Wellness. So Lou, L-O-U, L-A-B-E-L, and then wellness, W-E-L-L-N-E-S-S. And actually, her brother we know, and he's got a beautiful farm up on that little place that you have to catch a boat across to from Liverpool. Basil, health, love, money, luck, travel, and actual projection. Element fire, planet Mars, deities Krishna and Vishnu. Tarot card, strength. Protects against insanity and theft. Heals anger, fear, grief, and stress. Natural remedy for colds, fever, indigestion, skin issues. So if it's skin issues, that's very good for Capricorn, because Capricorn rules the skin, the knees, and the bones. Keep a leaf in your wallet for prosperity. Add to bar for relaxation and protection. In the intention opening, and then that's the bit that she kind of had there that she did with her intention thing. So thank you, Lou, from Lula Bear Wellness. That's appreciated. Perfect timing. 10 rocket, which is up here. Then we go 11 down to 14. 11 lettuce, 12 purple chard, 13 lettuce, 14 spinach, 15 across to 18.
Sun time.
It has gone backwards, you know, because it was Mars time earlier, now it's Sun. Whereas I know for sure before, I'm sure it went Sun, Mars, but then we had that lapse earlier. Oh my God, this means so much. Can't wait to find out what it means. Because this is like, we understand the meaning in the body, not that we understand what that means, but we will understand it in the mind when we like get co-conscious with all the altars. It's so exciting. We're getting a lot better with management of emotions, but you know, excitement's when it's there, it's there. 14 spinach at the end, 15 carrots, nonce, followed by winter salad, 16 parsnips, 17 carrots, bambino, followed by winter salad, 18 tomato and basil. So beautiful garden plan there. We loved, I'll hold it a bit better, maybe for a bit longer. And it may be frustrating if it's coming up backwards, but if you want to get the interconnectedness of all your brain and your neuron pathways, it's really good to do mirror work backwards too, because when we were shaving our head, it's exceptionally hard, but amazing for body and the mind connection and the heart. So if you do want to write it down or copy it and figure out the words backwards and write them forwards, your mind and your body, your subconscious mind and body will love you for it. And then next time we'll go on to chapter 1, Lunar Garden. No, we'll go on to chapter 4 next time, won't we? But there's just a really lovely picture there as well. So there we go. I'm not going to fold the pages on that one. Namaste. We're going to go on to our Neve Deb Snowflake Coleman channel, the host body given name now, and read out the introduction and start of the numerology oracle cards. So may see you over there. Take care. Namaste. Gratitude for being with us.